so great.
Say you. Dana, I'll be out of here going down to Whoopi's in a minute. Okay.
All right.
You have our undivided attention.
Okay, Oprah and Willard, it's wonderful to see you. You know, I'm going to start with her because, Willard, not to
I'm the biggest.
not to exclude
bigger
you,
than
Willard,
you are,
because
okay?
we're going to get you into it. Fear not, fear not. But Oprah, here you are
Here I
sitting
am.
there when you're normally sitting
where you are,
here.
Bobbie.
And you know, I've been saying for years that I would rather interview an actor than be one. And now I'm thinking of you. You know, have you ever said that?
Well, no, I've never said that. Actors are tough to interview. You know, I think it's I sympathize and empathize with you because I understand how difficult this is to do, especially in the time frame in which you're given to do it and everything. It's tough to do because, for the most part, I find actors only want to talk about themselves or what project they're doing, which is exactly what I intend to do today, Bobbie. Is talk about myself and the color purple.
Okay, but now I have to ask you the basic question, Oprah, which is, here you are as a broadcaster. I know you studied drama some in college, but how did you come into this massive project?
Isn't it great? It's wonderful. What happened is, I just killed the audio man. What happened is, Stephen Quincy Jones was going through Chicago. I have a talk show there, the Oprah Winfrey Show, which will be in your city in September. And he happened to turn on the television and saw my talk show and thought that I would make an interesting Sophia if I could act. Well, I've been acting with myself for years. It was what I went to college to learn how to do. It was a lifetime dream of mine, but I was sidetracked into television news and also talk and never had an opportunity to do it. I always knew in my soul that I was born to act, you know. I remember when I was a kid, I was I was in the 7th grade, and I was much thinner and wore these little bifocal glasses, the cat eyes, and you hadn't heard this story, Willard? This is a new one here. And so what happened is, I went to my mother one day and I said, you know, I think I'm very ugly and we should do something about it, because I knew that's what Leave It to Beaver did. So I thought to myself, well, so I said, Mama, can we get some new glasses? And she said, no, we can't afford it. So I staged a robbery at my house to get new glasses. I stayed home from school and I pulled down the curtains and I knocked over the lantern and all that and took my glasses on the floor and stumped them in a million pieces and then called the police. I had myself put in the hospital and pretended to have amnesia. And I got the whole idea from Marcus Welby, MD, because someone had amnesia. And it was my first acting job, and it went over so well. I got new glasses, and I recovered from amnesia. And really, I said, and after it worked so well, it was probably
Somebody broke in the house just to step on your glass.
No, actually, I stumped them myself, but I convinced the police and everybody at the hospital. I convinced everybody that I had amnesia because I was in the hospital a whole day, and they couldn't locate my mother because every time they'd ask me, I say, I don't remember. And I knew then I was born to act. It's my beginning, yes.
Willard, now listen, Willard,
That's
my
a true
dear.
story, too, Willard. I hadn't told you that story. That's true.
I would never ask you to top that story. Who could top that story?
That's the truth.
But I'm going to give you equal time to say anything, my dear, that you want to say.
Isn't that a great story, though, Willard? Really, I did. Put myself in the hospital.
It's just the movie itself has been a wonderful experience. I mean, working with Oprah, I mean, she's great. As you can see, she's some kind of person.
Was she wild like that on the set?
Oh, man, I tell you, this is mild.
This is mild.
This is mild.
They've told me to tone myself down for this because I'm trying to impress people around the country.
Oprah, I'm talking to Willard.
Yes, go ahead, Willard. Thank you.
You know, it's a great experience. I mean, working with Oprah and Danny Glover and Whoopi and all those people, Kusua, Margaret Avery, Adolph Caesar, Stephen and Quincy, you know, it's just a great group of people. And I mean, it's like one big happy family. And it's been an experience I'll never, ever forget. I promise you. I mean, it just was heaven.
Now, how did you come into the film? Through many readings and auditions and all that, or?
Well, it actually happened. Reuben Cannon called and asked for me to come in and get a reading. And at the time, he was seeing a lot of people, and all my buddies would say, well, no, they're not going to see you, man, because they're not seeing me, not seeing so-and-so. And a lot of the guys had been in, you know, Hollywood a lot longer than me. And luckily, Reuben had seen some of my work, and he remembered me, and I said, well, look, whatever happens will happen. And he called me in. I had 3 screen tests and about 6 weeks of torture, waiting. And finally, I ended up getting it, and it was like the greatest feeling in the world, because I had to live with that story for over a year. A lady from my hometown sent me the book, and all she put in was a note that said, "You are Harpo." And I read it, and I said, I got to do this movie. But then I said, well, who are you to have to do this movie? You're nobody, you know. And lo and behold, it just worked out that God blessed me with this movie, and Oprah and Danny and just great, great people, and Stephen to give me the opportunity to do what I love to do.
And
I mean,
why
directors
Harpo?
don't do that.
Why Harpo?
I think there's a part of Harpo in me, you know what I mean?
A part?
And when I read that part, I said, man, I mean, you know, because everybody, the image, I mean, not the black or white image, but everybody, you know, a lot of people are going to look at this movie and say, well, Harpo was so weak and this and that. If you are sensitive and loving and caring, does that mean that you're a wimp? I mean, what do I have to do? Go out and beat up a steer to let you know I'm bad? You know, that doesn't prove anything. He went through a lot. I mean, he had to deal with a lot of stress and strain that's unknown to what you'll see in the film, because his mother died at a young age, and his mother was beat to death. He had to live with that, watching his stepmother beat all the time. Here he was finally in love with somebody, never seeing and knowing what real love was. A baby just pops up here. He never knew what love was. His father just like did his action, and that was it. He never told me about these things. Then to lose the person the one thing that I loved was my wife and my kids, and I had to find myself and start my own juke joint and become my own man. I mean, he did a lot of growing to do. I mean, and becoming a real person and a real man. I mean, that's what a man is to me. I mean, it's not how bad you are, how many people you beat up, and I mean, it's learning to live, love, and understand. And I mean, so what if I do dishes? If I wasn't married to her, I'd have to do dishes. So you know, nobody's perfect, and you got to give and take. And I think in this movie that if you learn that you got to give and take and love and enjoy life and be your own person, then I've achieved what I set out to do.
Great. Oprah, one last quick question. How many times have you said that in your career? One last quick question.
I know.
Okay.
One more.
No,
One more.
but I have to ask you, because the biggest adjustment for me in making a film would be that there's so much time when you're not doing anything, and in television we're doing something constantly.
Mm-hmm.
Was that difficult?
First scene on the set was mine when we shot this. The first day we shot the juke joint scene where Sophia comes in with her boyfriend. And Steven Spielberg said to me the first day, what you will learn in making movies is that it's not the takes that take the time, it's the time between the takes that take all the time. Mm. So, I mean, I said that a million times in this movie. But I was, honestly, Bobbie, I was so happy to be in this picture that I did not notice the time in between. I was skipping and dancing and, you know, sitting in the tree house and having a good time all the time. So, I mean, even when we weren't shooting and they'd take, 20 minutes to reset the lights, I was happy. I was so happy to be there. It didn't matter. I mean, if it took 6 months to do, it was fine with me. I was just so happy to be a part of the Purple experience.
Oh, that's great. Well, it's a gorgeous film, and I thank you both for talking with me today. Oprah, finally, I got to meet you. That's nice.
Thank you.
And Willard, congratulations, both of you. It's a beautiful film.
Congratulations.
Great performance.
Oh, thank you,
darling. Darling.
You're great. Oprah?
9 to 10. Rolling. 9 to 10.
In the mornings?
Uh-huh.
Great. Okay.
Bobbie, try the light stand.
Okay, about like so?
For Willard, and the X on the lampshade for Oprah.
Okay, all right. Are we rolling?
Yes.
Oh, all right. And we have, I'll wait till they get out the door.
Okay, right, because it's audio, sorry.
Yeah.
I thought it was. You pause?
Got plenty of time.
Oh, we do.
And speed.
Oprah, for years I've been saying I would rather interview an actor than be one. Now, what about you? Have you ever said that? So, Oprah, how did you come into this project? Willard, I know I wouldn't even ask you to try to top that story. Willard, how did you happen to get the role of Harpo? Okay. What is it about Harpo that you identify with? I've been looking at, well, it's not going to matter that much.
It's quite all right.
Okay, all right. Okay. What was, okay. Oprah, I think the most difficult thing about making a movie for me would be that there's so much time when you're not doing anything, and in television we're always doing something. Was that difficult for you? And now just reactions. That should do it. Thank you.